Hi, I'm Jane Pritchard, Community Liaison at ACO. I'm joined today with some guests from Palz Uk. They're a charity, a dementia charity, and they're trying to raise awareness of the great work that they do. So delighted to have you all here today. So Liz, nice for you to join us today. We were introduced a while ago, weren't we? It's probably prior to COVID.
Yeah. It is quite some time ago.
Yeah, so we were, it was through the Shropshire Chamber of Commerce.
Yes.
And ACO had sponsored their charity networking group.
Yeah.
And of course, you were part of
Which has been
that.
great, and we're very grateful.
Yeah, fantastic. So tell us a little bit about the charity and what you do.
Well, I think probably best way to describe it is to think that if you were watching this today and you'd developed symptoms of dementia and you got a diagnosis of what was causing this, it could be Alzheimer's, it could be Lewy body dementia, it could be whatever, where would you go to get mental stimulation and social stimulation? And the answer is Palz. And Palz stands for Professionals with Alzheimer's or Dementia from Other Causes. It's not a UK idea. It was started in Australia by a wonderful woman there whose husband got Alzheimer's. He'd been a surgeon, and she thought, what is going to keep John's brain active in a work-type environment with people of a similar background? And they set up, in 2017, they set up Palz. And I thought, wow, this is an amazing thing that we don't have in UK. So we began it here, and it started in 2018. And the format of it is that there are talks by high-quality speakers on a regular basis, so that you come to the talk, but you come early, you have coffee and talk to other people who are coming. You have the talk with a break in the middle, then the talk goes on, and afterwards there's socialising. And the focus of Palz is who you are, not what you have. Because just because you have dementia, you haven't lost your brain. So we started in Shropshire. We have meetings. We use the conference centre on the site of the Royal Shrewsbury Hospital because it's central to the county. And there's no cost to people coming. There's no application forms or whatever. Some people may think, oh, professional. No, it's people who are bright, interested people who want to go on living the sort of life that they're used to living because they're bright people. And we have mainly, I have to say, it's mainly male participants, one or two ladies. Participants come with their supporters. So the supporters, mainly wives, could be friend, could be family member. All are welcome, and all are on the same journey. So I'd very much like to introduce you now to Clive. Clive Rogers. Clive, he's a bit of a star, really. Well, you are. You were, I think, you were at the very first meeting we had in 2018. But Clive has many hats because he also gave us a fantastic talk on beekeeping, best talk I've ever heard on bees. And you're also on the committee for the Shropshire group. And maybe, Clive, could you sort of give us an indication of what it means to you as someone with dementia coming to the group?
Yeah, well, I was diagnosed some 5 years ago with mixed dementia, and it comes as a kick in the guts when you're first diagnosed. Yeah. It's frightening, you don't know where to turn.
Yeah.
Through the first 12 months, it was a minefield trying to find any help or anything going on. We'd found one or two groups, but those groups were always talking nothing but dementia. And they tended to be for the people with dementia and not your carers, loved ones, wives, etc. We then found Palz, and the wonderful Liz here. The time she gives is amazing. But the thing I like about Palz is we have really interesting talks. They're stimulating. It's not about the dementia. There are talks about all sorts of things, like we had a talk about somebody who worked in the Antarctic, somebody who'd been to South America. Wonderful talks that are really stimulating.
We had medicine in war zones.
We did,
That was a good one, wasn't it?
medicine
Yeah.
in war zones. And the thing I like about it is those talks are not concentrating on the dementia. They're taking you away from that. And my wife comes along, she's my carer, and it's great that we can all be involved. And afterwards we have cups of tea and a chat, and then we can talk about our dementia. And
Yes.
Barbara, my wife, met probably her best friend now, who's also a carer for her husband.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it supports them as well.
So you've
it's great.
referred to Barbara as your carer, as your supporter, and Pat, you've been involved, haven't you, from
Yes.
very early on, as a supporter, as a carer?
Yes, I hate to
For Tony.
use that word carer
Yes, me too.
because I'm Tony's wife and I have been that for 54 years.
Yeah.
You know, so I've always cared for him and the children, and he's cared for me.
Yeah.
It's slightly one-sided now, but he's still, well, I'm his wife, you know, not his carer. But Tony was diagnosed 4 years ago with Alzheimer's, and the memory team came out and they were very helpful and very, very good, and he was given medication. And they gave me a lot of leaflets about groups that we could join. And we did try one or two, but Tony didn't want to go and sing songs all day. He went to one group and he came out with a glove puppet that he'd made, a sock puppet that he'd made. And that really upset me. And he'd never done that through his life. He'd had a professional life, and he still was a professional person. He still had a brain.
Yeah.
And it's the one thing, Liz, when we first joined, we joined just after Clive, and you were trying to get some funding. No, you were trying to get charitable status, I think.
Yes.
And you asked us to write down on a post-it note what Palz meant to us. And my response was that Palz recognised that Tony had a brain. He might not have a good memory, but he had a brain. And it's the first time we joined anything where they, you know, that had been acknowledged. And we love going. We do talk about it. Tony's memory is very poor now, so the next day he might not remember. But while we're there, we have a good time, and we're meeting like-minded people. That I know you've said we don't talk about, it's not the be-all and end-all, but it is an important part of it. The support that you get from other carers, other partners that are going through exactly the same things, all the highs and the lows that go with
Because
it.
I think unless you're on the same journey in life, you never entirely
Absolutely.
understand, do you?
You find
So, no,
lots, your family and
Yeah.
your friends are all there
Yes.
caring
Yes.
and concerned,
Yeah.
but they have sympathy, but they don't have empathy.
No.
And
No.
that's what
Yes.
you get from
And
being in a
you've
group like
reminded
we
me,
have.
Pat, because I haven't actually said to Jane that although we started in Shropshire, good old Shropshire, best county in England, we applied to be a UK-wide charity.
Yeah.
July the 1st, 2020, not a great time, you'll remember,
No.
the pandemic. And we were told it could take 20 weeks. 8 days later, we had an email saying we were now UK-wide registered, which was wonderful,
Fantastic,
good news,
yeah.
and not so good news. We could hardly say set up groups. But now we feel we are in a position to spread it across the UK.
Yes.
Because we know that there will be people today who will get that damning diagnosis, which will, like Clive says, rock your life really. And they won't have a Palz group. And what we're really anxious is to find people in different parts of the country who would be prepared to set up groups. And we have on the website a pack, startup pack. We would go and see people, we would pay for them to come to see our group here, we would give some financial support. So we're all geared to spread it across the UK so that people in different parts of the country can get the benefits that people have here.
Yeah.
Can I just add as well, groups like Palz, our group, it's run by people who really understand the problem, who've been there, have got that, you know, like Clive. Professionals are wonderful people, and they know so much, but they don't really know what it's like. So for other people to set up a group with the same problems that we've all got would be wonderful. If there were groups all across the country, everybody would appreciate it, you know, because you're meeting like-minded people. That's the thing.
So I think the work that you do is absolutely amazing. Just hearing your stories as well is just
well, it's a great privilege. I was a solicitor, and a lot of my clients had dementia, so I think the people who will set up groups are people who will have been touched by dementia personally, or as I was professionally, and you know, it's a great privilege to be able to do it, really.
Yeah.
But we do want to spread it across the UK.
Well,
and thank
we'll
you.
help. Yeah.
Thank you to ACO. I can't thank. I'm so amazed by ACO letting us be, you know, members of the Chamber of Commerce, doing this for us. It's brilliant. Thank you.
Well, we'll
on
do
behalf of
what
all
we
of us.
can to help promote, because I mean, you know, it is, like I said, it's fantastic work what you do, and you know, whatever we can do to help promote it.
Yeah,
Then,
thank you.
Yeah.
Really appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you very much.